Okay, perfect. Okay, so before we dive into the South San Francisco details, I will go over some important data and information that you guys should know and can carry to, communicate this to your clients here. So I will share my screen here. Okay, let me know when you guys can see my screen here.
Yeah, I can see a screen. Yep.
Okay.
That's great.
All right. So let's first talk about mortgage rates and their projections, all right? Because this is obviously, one of the hot topics for both buyers and sellers, right? So as you can see right here, they have overall been decreasing slightly, but the projections from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, etc., the projections aren't like really great in terms of significant decreases. Okay, so if we look a bit more detailed here, we can see that most of these projections are in the low sixes, right? Again, these are averages. If you're talking to your buyers, you might want to discuss different ways and bring in your loan officer and discuss different ways to get that rate lower, right? And possibly think of something, like I just thought about this, think of something maybe a little bit out of the box, right? Then a lot of home tours, maybe have your lender meet you at one of your tours, right? Or if you have multiple tours, maybe you have your lender meet you at your last tour. That way you can really, really engage and possibly have a specific plan to get that rate lower. For the listing side, for the sellers, it's probably good to show them some of these graphs and charts to let them know.
I have a question. When you say you, does it mean the realtor or the consumer? I kind of want to make sure. Yeah. So is this something we should tell our clients, or we should know it as realtors ourselves?
Well, both.
Okay.
You should know these and also communicate this to your clients, right? Because you have some buyers waiting that, hey, the rate is going to significantly decrease, right? Instead of you just blatantly tell them, hey, it's not. Show them this, right? Hey, this is not just my statement. This is a statement from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Wells Fargo as well, right? So if they're waiting for that rate to drop, then, it might not be a good plan, right? And this is a good thing to show the sellers as well, again, because, if they're thinking, hey, the rate going to be dropping soon, and then my home will drastically increase, that's not the case according to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae.
So right? If I can interject, so you are saying that because I do have quite a few clients saying that they're actually waiting for the rate to drop. So does it mean that you're saying that this is for their question, like, I'm waiting for the rate to drop, and you are telling them, if you look at the data, it's not looking like a very immediately that the rate will drop. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. So, but how does this connect to they should act now? Why don't they wait longer? I'm trying to understand. Right? They're probably gonna say that, oh, you know what? Thank you very much for the data. I think it's helpful, so I'm gonna be waiting for longer.
Okay. Well, that's a great that's a great assessment. And what I will show you may comprise of your answer, or my answer.
Yeah. I think you are bringing a very, very good topic. Yeah, this is even better than I expected.
There's other associating variables here, right? So just showing you right now what the mortgage rates are, and their projections don't look, as great there. But yeah, now we'll talk about like increase in pricing. Here you go, John. Right?
Okay.
So this is a screenshot. I took this directly from all the 3 big counties around here, Santa Clara, Alameda, and San Mateo. Okay. So this is a 3-year shot. Okay. So although the mortgage rates have not decreased significantly, the prices still are increasing, right? And if you look at the inventory, it's also increasing. Now, if you apply like the simple like supply and demand, right? If the mortgage rates are staying the same, why is prices also increasing as inventory is decreasing? Why is that, right? Well, if you take a step back and you look at the inventory from 2021, actually, we're still lower in inventory from the 2021. All right. We are increasing inventory, but not as much as 2021. All right. And if you go back to 2019, it's still significantly lower. So that particularly is likely why the prices are still increasing. Okay. Because overall, comparing to 2019 and 2021, we are still lower in inventory, right? So sellers may need to pay attention to this as well. Like as inventory is growing, what is what is that going to be doing to the pricing, right? So that brings me to, so Sean, does this answer your question? Hello?
Yes, kind of. Yes. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me from the seller side. Oh, here we go. This is on a national average here, right? There are only 15 states back above inventory from 2019. Most everyone is decreased, and we're still not back, pre-COVID inventory here. All right. So even though the inventory, it does remain that limited. And this is a quote directly from Lawrence, from the chief economist. All right. Because inventory remains low, limited, the median home price rose to a near record high for the month of March. So the past 6 years on national average is accumulated approximately 120K for the typical homeowner. Now, although prices are rising, they're not rising significantly, right? It's not 2021, 2022, where the median prices increase a significant level. All right, this is from realtor.com. About 80% of all homeowners think their home will sell at or more than their listed price. So this is another good graphic you may want to take to your listing presentations. All right. You need to price the property very, very carefully here when you're talking to sellers, just because the overall, in terms of homes that are selling less than list price, 62% are selling less than list price. Right. As the home, and this is another graphic here, as a home stays on the market for much longer, the price cut typically is more significant here. All right. So pricing your home is very important. And how you can get how can you get a really good handle on how that how that property is going to perform, and a little closer, more accurate list price that you should set is pretty good. What you can do is you can get all the pending homes that are in that area and attempt to get either their pending price and their offer count. This is going to give you a better insight in terms of how this property is going to perform, and give you more insight on how you should be pricing this property. And if you bring those two variables, all the nearby pending properties, their prices and their offer counts, if you bring that to the listing presentation, you're also going to sound much more informed, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's mortgage rates, inventory, and the pricing, and how you should be pricing your homes, and what information you should be getting, right? I want to show you, does anyone have any questions about this, by the way?
I guess one thing, I believe you pretty much covered a little, but if there's one like sentence, people asking you, hey, Anton, we're entering middle of 2026. How's the market? Like what? And you can only answer in a very short nutshell. What would be our answer? What's the best answer we can give them?
Well, I mean, some of them might look at the market as like, not as robust, right? Okay. So, and I'll tell you this, and you can create a one sentence line yourself, but I'm going to give you a little bit more in-depth response to that. Okay. And here it is, right? And this screen that you're looking at, okay, this is all home property, all residential properties of more than 30 days on market. Take a look at this. Like 2 years ago, this would be a different picture, right? This looks like a cemetery. But Sean, to answer your question, there's always two sides to the coin, right? These are all the pending properties. See that?
Yeah.
So they are selling. Transactions are happening, right? On the buyer side, you can go back to this graphic, right? If you have a buyer client, hey, let's look at some of these properties, right? Adjust your, your criteria and what you, broaden your range from a seller side. Goes back to that, the pricing. They are selling. You just have to price it correctly. And you have to set the expectation that your property is not going to be selling like 2021 or 2022. Right. So you can word that, you can create, get this information right here and just create your one-liner.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
However you like. So transactions are definitely happening, right? You just, the expectation from the seller perspective is more, right? It is a higher expectation in terms of the property selling.
I see. Okay. So basically, my understanding, if I have to compact everything to one sentence, is that you as a seller may have a higher expectation, and we agree that the inventory is low. However, you're probably not gonna be expecting your price to be similar to those of 2021 or 2022 because there are more inventories on the market than more inventories that are pending. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So basically, this is the great analysis. As I said, depending on how much time they have for you, right? Sometimes they only have 30 seconds. Sometimes they want to spend 3 minutes with you. So yeah, you can punchline and then elaborate a little. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. So thank you.
A few more things, but I really want to press down like getting pending property prices and their offer counts is very important, right? Because you have to, these different hyper local neighborhoods can be very, very different, right? Like the split like 95129, right? There is a difference between Prospect and Limerick, right? And then lastly, I'll say one thing, and this is generally overall, like come with energy, confidence, and friendly, right? Because two agents could say the exact same thing, but if the other one's in verbatim, the exact same words, right? If one guy has a really good energy, friendly, good vibes, and the other one does not, he's going to be getting the client, whether it's a buyer or seller. All right. So make sure you have that and practice that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for the. Is this the conclusion for the market pause that we want to share? Otherwise, we can give
There
them
are other
back to.
variables. Yeah, but there are the other variables, but I don't think it's really impactful. I think these variables right here are the most impactful.
Sure.
For
Yeah, let's hand the mic to Steve. So thank you very much, and I think most people are here. So yeah, we can start. With Caesar's sharing. Yeah, I'm actually very excited about today's topic because I think we really got an expert for a part that I'm not that familiar with. I've done maybe I think 15, 16 transactions in these two cities this year, but like that on average like 1.1 or 1.2 each year, so not really a lot, right? So I think this expert is going to be very helpful. So yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll be sharing about South San Francisco and San Bruno. I actually grew up in like the cusp of Daly City, San Francisco, which is right behind this South San Francisco sign. So they're both located in San Mateo County. South San Francisco's nickname is South City, which was founded in 1908. The population is about 66,000. And it's one of the most diverse cities in the community, which I put so it's populated with 42% of Asians, 32% of Hispanics and Latinos, and then 20% white. And then for San Bruno, it was incorporated in 1914. Population is approximately 44,000, with a population of 32% Asians, 29% Hispanic Latinos, and 30% white. And then, so these two locations are considered like prime locations. They're both very close to the San Francisco International Airport, and about a 15 to 20-minute drive to downtown San Francisco. They have direct access to 101, I-280, BART, and Caltrain access. And it's an excellent location, especially for commuters going towards Silicon Valley. Sorry, my baby's crying in the background. It is a location where a lot of tech companies are located, like Genentech, there's YouTube, Walmart. There's a lot of hospitals like Kaiser, Sutter, and it's very close to UCSF as well. And it's very convenient. There's a lot of shopping and dining areas, and recreational areas for like families and entertainment. And then for the schools, so South San Francisco School District is the South San Francisco Unified School District. There's many schools. There's South San Francisco High School, El Camino High School, Westboro. There are some private schools like All Souls Catholic School, Parkway Heights Middle School, Holy Angels, and Sarah High School, which is a really good high school in San Mateo County. And then in San Bruno, they have their own school district for kindergarten or TK to 8th grade, and then their high school has their own school district, which is San Mateo Union High School District. And then top schools again are Mills High School, Cappuccino High School, and they have private schools like St. Robert Catholic School and Highlands Christian School.
I have a quick question here, Cesar. So you mentioned Mears High. Is part of San Bruno going to Mears High? This is a little bit...
I think it's part of that school district.
Oh, really? Okay. I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both San Francisco and San Bruno offer families access to established public school districts, respective private school options, and strong peninsula educational resources, which is great for like buyers and families that want to move into the area. And also they have like a very good, or the crime rate is very low in these areas as well. Me personally, like I had an open house in South San Francisco. I actually hosted a few, and a lot of the times, like local police officers come and visit to introduce themselves and you know let everyone know that the neighborhood is fairly safe. I think like the most crime that they have would be uh, like breaking into cars, but it's not common. And then the economic drivers in South San Francisco again is like the biotechnology and life sciences hub. Like Genentech is located there, which is the birthplace of biotechnology. There's a lot of healthcare and medical employment, logistics and distribution, professional and business services. And then there's also the waterfront Oyster Point development, which is fairly new as well. And San Bruno has a technology employment hub like YouTube. It's very close to the airport. They have a lot of retail and consumer commerce, and again, healthcare and professional services, and very great for commute.
Yeah, I think this is always something that we tell our clients that if they are working for biotech, especially there are quite a few. If you actually open up map, and if you go to where there is like a little corner in between, alongside 101, and right before you hit Brisbane, there will be the corner that you're going to be see. It's very funny that one of the ways is actually called DNA way. So there is Genentech, which is the ankle big thing there. And there is also places like if you actually just search for, I think there's like Denali, and let me see, like biomedical, biogen, biomedical companies. Yeah, so you can see right there. You have wow, there's so many like J Labs, NeuraBio, Corvus, Derini, Thermotor, Circle Farms, Distributed Farm. But obviously the biggest is the Genentech, right? So that's a lot. So basically, I have a strong my personal statement are, if you have an investor who wants to bet the future, like boost of like biomedical and bioscience after AI, I think South San Francisco and San Bruno are the place to go. And especially like the sun here and also around the downtown area of South San Francisco. It's like, first of all, so close to there, and second of all, it's a pretty decent and established neighborhood. So that's why I kind of like feeling strongly that this can be a very good potential investment bid. In terms of like future growth potential. That's my personal take.
Yeah, and a lot of buyers that I came across in these areas are a lot of them are in tech.
Mm-hmm.
And sellers as well.
Yeah.
And these are the different neighborhoods. So the zip code in South San Francisco is 94080. And I wrote down a bit about the neighborhood. So Bury is an established single family neighborhood popular with families. Winston Manor is a commuter friendly community with classic homes. There's Sarah Highlands, which is a hillside neighborhood with residential appeal. Westboro, highly sought after area with homes, townhomes, and convenience to shopping. Sign Hill, which is like the newer residential developments with scenic hillside surroundings. I believe Jesse had a listing in that area as well. And then there's also Oyster Point, which is closer to where Genentech is located. And then San Bruno, the zip code is 94066. The areas are Crestmore, which is a desirable hillside neighborhood with strong residential appeal. Mills Park, which is centrally located, and it's great for families. Rolling Wood, which is a suburban style community. Portola Highlands, which is a scenic hillside neighborhood with larger homes. Pacific Heights, which is convenient, which is a commuter convenient residential area. And then there's Shelter Creek, which is a well-known condo community.
Great.
And then shopping, dining, and everyday conveniences. South San Francisco and San Bruno both offer exceptional everyday conveniences. There's plenty of grocery stores, shopping centers, restaurants, cafes, fitness studios, healthcare services, and daily essentials. And there's a huge variety. Both cities have a Costco, Trader Joe's, Target, supermarkets, pharmacies, banks, and essential services, which really makes it desirable. And then here are areas which are neighborhood favorites. Grand Avenue, they have a lot of great local restaurants, cafes, bakeries. Oyster Point Marina, they also have scenic like waterfront restaurants there as well. Westboro Square, Sign Hill. A lot of people go there to take a photo of the South San Francisco sign and hike. Orange Memorial Park. They have a K1 speed. And then in San Bruno, there is Tanforan. San Bruno Park, Junipero Cerro Park, downtown San Bruno and San Mateo, which also have a lot of local restaurants and cafes. They have Artichoke Joe's, I think, which is like a small casino. And then it's very close to Pacifica Beach as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then this is like a new community center that they built in 2023. That's beautiful. I've been there myself. And I took my kids there. It's big. It's right next to the police station. They have they have a new library, park, a rec center. It also has a gym. They offer classes. I believe it's free if you live in the community. They have like dance classes and community program spaces that you can reserve. They have like children and teen learning areas. They have a whole calendar up. A lot of people in the area like to come here. Study rooms. They have a community theater, a 1.3 acre public park with playground and open green space. I believe also they have like an outdoor gym in this area. And and they also provide public electronic vehicle charging. And then for the housing market, for both San Francisco and San Bruno, there's averaging around 47 or 45 active listing. Median sale price is like 1.2 to 1.3. Days on the market is about 2 weeks, which is, I think, common now. And their inventory is lower, so I would say it's a seller's market. Most homes sell above asking.
Yeah, this is so interesting. I think this is something that is very, very interesting that you should tell your clients. I think it's exactly as Anton just said, is that what we observe today is that the closer you actually are getting to the city, San Francisco, the higher, the better the trend is. So it is so funny that I don't know what is exactly going on within San Francisco, but one of our friend, well, not currently us, but should be joining us in the next month or so, have just closed one house in, I think it's in North Beach, for 4.8 million, and it's just on the market for like a couple of weeks. And also one of our condo got into contracts in 2 weeks in San Francisco. And I kind of feel that on the contrary, for places like Newark, Fremont, and also part of San Jose, like some zip code San Jose, the average COM is like more than 23 days or even close to like a month also. So
Yeah.
which is so interesting. And like I don't know if anyone has any thoughts or any comments over this. I'm still trying to figure out like why this is like a happening. Yeah, but
Yeah. And for San Mateo County, the homes in um South San Francisco and San Bruno are a little more affordable versus a single family home in San Mateo. I think they're ranging about like 1.8 and up. And then so the housing market trends, buyer versus seller market. In South San Francisco, it would be considered a seller's market due to strong demand driven by biotech, healthcare, airport, and San Francisco commuters. Limited inventory continues to support seller leverage. Well-priced homes often receive strong interest and can move quickly. Again, the median sales price is around 1.3, and the average market time is 13 days. For condos, it's more of a buyer's market. The median sales price is about 700K to 850K. More inventory options. They do stay on the market a little longer compared to single family homes. Buyers tend to have more negotiating power, especially with HOA sensitive inventory. Longer decision timelines versus detached homes. Best performing condo communities remain competitive if priced correctly. And then for San Bruno, single family homes is a strong seller's market. Highly competitive due to commuter appeal and central peninsula location. Fast moving detached inventory, especially in desired neighborhoods. Median sales price is about 1.39 million. And average market time is approximately 9 days, which is faster than South San Francisco. And then condos and townhomes, buyer's market, median sales price is 475 to 650K, and Sheltered Creek is a popular community in this area. Greater price sensitivity due to interest rates and HOA fees. Condo buyers are more selective. Opportunities for negotiation may be stronger with detached home. Entry-level buyers are still active in well-positioned communities like Shelter Creek. And here's just a summary of everything I just stated. But in summary, detached homes in both South San Francisco and San Bruno continue to favor sellers due to limited inventory and strong commuter-driven demand, while the condo segment offers more balanced environment where strategic pricing remains essential.
Thank you very much, Tisa. I think that's very concise and very accurate introduction for the area. So, if you have any if some people want to ask in a nutshell, in compared to these two cities, hey, should I mean, as you see, like the cities, San Bruno is a little bit higher in terms of pricing, right? But not like too much higher. So these two cities are very comparable. So that's why, if someone asks us like, hey, what do you recommend in between these two? What would be your recommendation or your words on that topic? Yeah.
It would all depend on what they're looking for. They're very similar. I personally like South San Francisco. I feel like it's great for families. But San Bruno is kind of a more like, it's smaller, and I want to say it's like I can't find the words for it, to be honest. I don't know, a lot more appealing because it's a little closer to the airport and San Mateo.
So it's probably just because of I don't know. It's
hard.
Yeah,
It's
to
hard
be
to
honest,
answer.
I don't know what other people are thinking, but for me, like getting close to the airport is probably not an advantage. That means you have to. I have sold a couple of homes for my clients on downtown San Bruno, where literally in their backyard you can hear the engine, like the jet engine, like the.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's like I think they call it what is it called I don't know. There was one person told me one word, like basically like a like jet thunderstorm, something like this, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyhow. So yeah. So I guess very good. Sharing. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Anyone
of
have
course. Thank
any
you.
questions? Like you want to ask Tita, and yeah. So feel free. Yeah. I mean, or any of us, yeah, we can have it because today we run pretty fast, so yeah, so we can have a little bit of like a chat time, yeah.
Yeah, just I don't have a question, but just a reminder. CISA has shared the ethnicity, ethnicity ratio there, but I would not present this the ethnicity ratio in any area unless the client is really 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 interested, and just be very cautious of disclosing this, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about the city. Anything you want to discuss, things we're together. So it's going to be sometime. You can ask any questions. Yeah, since we're here. So okay. So
Yep.
I'm gonna take over from here. A little bit of added information. So I actually read it. I'm gonna challenge you. Okay, I'm gonna do some crazy things. So let me show you something. Okay, and I want you to watch this. This is gonna be an 8 minutes video, and I always want to share with you. Let me see if everyone can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let's read this, okay? And after this, okay, I want everyone to be here, everyone here repeating one sentence that Tom Ferry said. I literally shout out 5 times of that sentence and try to memorize every single word of that sentence. I think it's going to be really really helpful for us. But watch this out. Only 8 minutes, not too long. So yeah. So and then we can kind of like exchange a little bit on this. Okay. Yeah.
5 scripts that are going to make you even more money. For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to your business.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Tom
Ferry.
5 scripts that can build some confidence and ultimately help you win more business. Many years ago, I learned that sales is the ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead you and the prospect to a mutually desired end result, a yes or a no. No maybes involved. So again, sales is the ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead you and the prospect to a mutually desired end result, a yes or a no.
Yeah. So okay. So this is again. Let's hear this out. Okay. I'm gonna explain this very briefly. Okay. This here's a little bit tricky, right? It's kind of like winding back and forth, right? Sales is the ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead you and your prospect into a mutually desirable end result. A yes or a no. No maybes involved. Okay. So basically that being explained. As a salesperson, agent is salesperson, right? You're gonna have to start asking questions. A lot of time when we start asking questions, we're getting too much into express ourselves instead of wanting to observe and ask what people want to hear or want to know. So again and again, we need to ask questions. And those questions are not random, are not arrogant, and not adverse. They are directive, they are natural, they automatically direct your prospect, which is your client, whoever your lead, whoever you talk to, into knowing what they want. That is going to be mutually acceptable and agreeable with you and your client. A yes or a no. Like if you ask a series of questions, right? And the answer, like when we discuss about the market, right? Oh, you know what? I always try to end my conversation on a result in terms of like, okay, here's the plan. I'm clear that you're probably not going to be buying in the next 3-4 months. How about we set up another meeting in another 6 months? And the general will tell you yes, right? And you do not want to hear, oh yeah, I really enjoy talk to you. Are we going to be looking at some homes maybe in next week? Do you have some time? And they're going to be like, maybe, what's the... You do not want to get that answer. If you get a no, then you will get a yes somewhere. So again, your final answer will be a yes or a no. And all scripts is going to be leading from this yes or no. Okay. So here's my challenge. Let's hear this again. I'm going to send this video to the group, to both groups after this meeting. I want you to watch it again, and then ask yourself and remind this one as a general rule of you being able to ask questions to your prospect. Okay, so again,
is involved. So again, sales is the ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead you and the prospect to a mutually desired end result, a yes or a no. So my question for you is, do you have enough sales confidence, enough sales scripts and dialogues, so in the moment of truth, you know what to say? You've heard me say before that knowledge equals confidence and ignorance equals fear. When I know what to say, I'm more likely to take action, more likely to ask for the order, more likely to ask for the appointment, more likely to go engage with the prospect. But when I don't know what to say, suddenly doing paperwork or going to the bathroom or finding something to eat is a far better use of my time. Knowledge equals confidence and ignorance equals fear. Today, I want to give you 5 sales dialogues, 5 scripts, not in any order of importance, and some of them go together and some of them don't. But the point is to simply add them into your sales toolbox. So the next time you're out with a prospect, you know what to say and you get one step closer to that yes. So let's take a look at 5 that you can add in right away. Number 1 is, what's important to you in the agent you choose to represent you? What's important to you in the agent you choose to represent you? Now, I love that question because it's a value elicitation. I'm trying to discover what are their values as it relates to choosing an agent to represent them in a purchase or in selling their home. Would it be great if you could just ask the client, hey, how would you like me to sell and influence you? Well, you can't ask that, but you can ask, look, you've met lots of agents, you've been online. Now that you know what's important to you in the agent you choose to represent you. Well, gosh, Tom, we're looking for someone that's going to do a lot of marketing, have lots of communication, get us the highest possible net proceeds at the lowest possible cost and the shortest amount of time. If they tell me all that, now I can custom make my presentation to feed into their criteria, giving them exactly what they want and ultimately win the yes. So that's a very powerful question, and I hope you add it in. Let's look at number 2. If there was an advantage in time, money, and marketing exposure, would it be worth just 15 minutes of your time for us to get together and learn more about that? If there was an advantage in time, money, and marketing exposure, or better yet, any one of the criteria they shared above, you can use that criteria and alter this. If there was an advantage in time, money, marketing, would it be worth just 15 minutes of your time for us to get together? Very, very simple yet effective script that the vast majority of people just simply aren't thinking about. I'm thinking about what's important to the client, and if I can deliver that to you in 15 minutes, would it be worth it? Now, where does that work? What if I've already found out that they're meeting with another agent? And I say, well, if there was an advantage to get a second opinion that could cause you to save time, make more money, and get greater marketing exposure, would it be worth 15 minutes of your time? They're going to say yes. They're going to be open to that possibility. So that's a very important script that should be in your sales toolbox. Look at number 3. You've heard me talk about this before. If the home's not selling, then it's not compelling to the buyers in today's market. if the home's not selling, it means it's not compelling to the buyers in today's market. And if you remember that presentation I did on the Tom Ferry show, we talked about, you articulating in your marketplace, what are the 3 to 4 types of properties that are compelling? Is it just price? Remember, if you lead with just price, that seller potentially is going to be a little bit nervous, right? Oh, you just want to lower the price. So I would say, finish with price at the end, or make that the bow that wraps them all together. The properties that are compelling are opportunity properties. Zoned R2 lot with a single old house on it. That's an opportunity for a builder, as an example. It could be prime location, near a school, near the freeways, whatever it may be, near the subways, prime location. You know your market. You know what makes a property compelling. And then, of course, you can wrap price at the end. So that's another great script you should be using all the time. Number 4, have you had any thoughts of selling, and do you know anyone who's had any thoughts of selling? This great script, our wonderful client Tim Smith, and now tens of thousands of clients all over the world, they're using these questions as a simple way, as you're out in your day-to-day activities, in line at Starbucks, going to the grocery store, at the dry cleaner, meeting with a friend, like talking to anybody, always being listening focused by saying, hey, I'm just curious, have you guys had any thoughts of selling? Have you guys had any thoughts? Have you guys had any thoughts of selling? Have you guys had any thoughts of selling? It's such an easy no-brainer question. Then you shut up. Have you guys had any thoughts of selling? Well, that's a yes. If they give you a definitive no, we love our house, we're totally great. You and I both know, like you just asked the next question. Well, do you know anybody who's had any thoughts of selling? Well, funny you ask, my brother-in-law's been thinking about it, or they just got pregnant, or they just got divorced, or something just happened. So yeah, there's that opportunity for a referral as well. Those 2 questions added into your sales toolbox are going to make you more confident and win you more business. Let's look at the last one, number 5. In the moment of truth, when we're talking pricing on a listing appointment, most agents have one pricing strategy. We believe that there's actually 3, and what we have to do is decide tonight which is the better option for you. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, number 1, we can price the property above the comps. We refer to this as trying to find the needle in the haystack. Pricing the property really aggressively above fair market value, above the comps, looking for that one buyer who may buy your home. Number 2, we price it right at fair market value, which is what the vast majority of people do. And then for my most savvy clients, we actually create a bidding war by pricing it just below fair market value. We then do all of our marketing and unveil the property to as many agents and buyers as possible, creating a bidding war opportunity for your home. Of those 3 pricing strategies, which is better for you? Very, very powerful. Now, I know as we're going through this, and this is kind of a shorter Tom Ferry show, what I'd love for you to do is a couple things. Number 1, if you're getting value from this, have you subscribed to my channel? If you're watching this on Tom Ferry, yes, I'm actually asking you to go back to YouTube.
Sean, you're on mute. I'm not sure if you're talking.
Sorry, I was talking before, and thank you for the reminder. I was not talking. So I want you guys to see this is number 1, that when we see the script, okay, we need, and remember what Tom just said, you need to put this tool in your toolbox. You need to make it your own. Okay, and like, I'm not gonna say one by one. I think this is whenever I see this kind of coaching video or scripts and everything, I generally watch it for 2 or 3 times. And now every day, at least 1 or 1.5 hours, I'm actually trying to this, because believe it or not, these tools getting me sellers, even after 10 years of full-time real estate experience. I still feel I need to learn this and polish my, skill and sharpen my tools. I'm sorry, I was gonna say my teeth, like every day. It's not my tools, every day. Okay. For example, the first one, because the reason I think, a lot of people, a lot of agents, they don't know why scripts are so important. Is number 1, because when you talk, your brain cannot think that fast and make logic. So when you talk with something that is written, that is script, right? Versus when you talk while you think it, is going to be fundamentally different. When you talk with a preset script, you look confident, you look organized, and you look that you are in control. Okay, for example, the first one, what's important to you to work with the agent that represents to you? This actually is an open-ended question, right? It's another word of saying that, oh, what kind of agents you're looking for? But what kind of agents I'm looking for? I'm looking for agents that can bring results, right? However, the definition of what's important, the way the script is designed, is that it's kind of like making a too wide open-ended question into a specific feature, trait that the sellers may be thinking that, hey, I want someone who is not pushy. Whenever I talk to sellers using this, sometimes I add a most. What is the most important traits for you to the agent that represents you, right? Some seller would say confidence. Some seller would say friendly. Some sellers would say market driven, like data driven. This way, I almost immediately getting into the idea of what they're looking for. Because basically, I think if you remember what we discussed about a year ago, 4 types of negotiators, right? Again and again, let's repeat that. Okay, 4 types of negotiators: driver, analytics, extractor, and accommodator. And remember this, right? So whenever we talk to them, we need to start from what they are looking for. So if you watch this and this again, you're going to be able, also, for example, number 5, right? Most agents have one piece, one strategy. We believe there are 3. And you would probably think, yeah, I know that there's three strategies, right? First, above, at, or below market. No, here's the thing. What you need to learn and say is not the above, middle, and lower, the market. What is very, very important is the way we use what I call the matrix to let the seller know that we do have a strategy. And sometimes some people maybe even think about why we would be using prices wildly above, like aggressively above the comps, right? For example, the comps is that I think this is very, very interesting for me and Cesar when we discussed the listing of 124 cherry. Remember this, right? So we discussed the different, Cesar, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we actually used this script and strategy in terms that we went like crazily above. We went even over, like seller was wanting like 1.4 something. We went over. We did like 1.5 in off market. So like aggressively above asking, and we were showing the seller, hey, we're trying to find a needle in the haystack. Let's see if anyone is looking at this one, right? We know it's pretty decent and a nice house, but is anyone will be looking at this, right? So with combination of the strategy with the script, we ended up posting the like 1.2, anyways, I think we listed at 1.2, right? Let's do that.
Yeah, 1.25.
1.25. We listed like significantly below. The comp was like 1.3-ish. So we ended up getting 1.4 for that price. So as you see, this is going to be something like literally influence the seller. It's not a simple about ad or, and again, the business of real estate, your sales job is the art of talking to people. So that's why we need to kind of know this and becoming this to ourselves. So if you see this, do not fully understand, ask your questions, right? Ask me, ask Antoine, ask your coach, and we're gonna make it yours so you can talk to your client and make it happen, okay? So now challenge time. Everybody, please you can use your word. Let's read it again. Okay, so I want you to remember this because I want to change your style, and I'm actually shouting this out for 5 or 6 times. Read it out, say it, okay, so that you remember. Our job as real estate agents are asking questions. Okay, so let's read it again, and then let's start. We don't have too many people, so I want every and each of you to speak before we end today's conversation. Okay, we end today's meeting. Okay, so let's read this, and you know,
ask
you can
a series of questions
yeah.
and build some confidence and ultimately help you win more business. You know, many years ago, I learned that sales is the ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead you and the prospect to a mutually desired end result, a yes or a no. No maybes involved. So again, say.
Okay, all right, who wants to start?
Start reading the fast script.
You can, yeah, you can read it. You can read the way you memorized. You can say it your own way. You know, just say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just repeat what he mentioned. So number one, what's important to you in the agent you choose to represent you? And number two, if there was an advantage in time, money, and marketing exposure, would it be worth 15 minutes of your time to get together? So number three, if the home is not selling, it's not compelling to buyers in today's market. Number four, have you had any thoughts of selling? If not, do you know anyone who's had any thoughts of selling? And the last one is about pricing strategy. So we have 3 strategies. Number one, price above the market value. Number two, price at fair market value. And number three, price slightly below market value to create more bidding wars.
Great job, Molly. That's
Thanks.
absolutely fantastic. Okay, yeah. Who wants to go next? I mean, whether I call your name or you say it yourself, it's gonna happen. So why don't you say it?
By the way, I have copy paste the script in the WeChat group. So if you don't remember, you can just check there.
Very nice. Yeah, thank you. Anna, start. Just, I mean, you can go. You don't have to repeat this full thing. I want to ask you to repeat. It's that one sentence. Okay, the sales. What is sales?
Yeah, so the sales is to ask a series of questions that will generate either a yes or a no that mutually agrees by you and your client.
That's great. That's great. That means you're using your own language to become this your own toolbox. Great job, Anna. Yeah, no problem. Okay, who's next? I'm seeing on my next screen is Anton. Go ahead, Anton.
Sorry. I took I had to grab
No worries.
something.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
No. I missed the last 1 minute, so my apologies.
So
what am I? Sorry.
No worries. Yeah. So we were talking about what is sales from this video. What do you get? What is sales?
What is sales?
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't I didn't look at the last part, but sales is actually as Tom mentioned here, the ability to get like a yes or a no, right? To mutually agreed upon, yes or no here, and then ultimately for you is if you do get that no, you got to get at least attempt to get a referral or something like that, because because if they're not ready, then they might know someone else that's ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, great intake. Yeah. Okay, Chelsea. Chelsea, are you on?
Sorry, I was not there for a while. So
Why she's muted again?
hi, yes. I was not there for a while, so I don't have really good ideas about that.
Okay, so you need to. Okay.
I will review the video later.
Okay, no worries. We're not a class. Okay, Caesar, you want to repeat that sentence?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so sales is the ability to ask a set of questions that naturally and automatically give you and your prospect a natural / mutual result, which would be an answer of a yes or a no, and no maybes.
Great. That's fantastic. Great job. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Tina,
Thank you.
Tina, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead.
So sales is ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically need to clear yes or no.
So, okay, yeah, that's a good take on sales. So again, the important thing is not for us to remember the exact wording, but the essentials of this statement. Okay, yeah, Yesha. Oh, Yesha, it just disappeared. Okay, Xin. Oh, Yesha is back.
Hello.
Yesha.
Hi.
Yeah.
Sorry
Okay, go
if
ahead. Yeah.
I
No worries.
somehow. Yeah.
Sure.
I think according to me, sales, the most important thing for sales is to know sellers' needs. I mean, what exactly they are looking for. Is it like they just want to sell the property, or is it a particular price they are looking for? So I think that thing will help a lot in listing, right? There are two kinds of listing, right? One is very realistic. Kind of listing where the listing price is as per the comps, right? And we are preparing accordingly. If the seller is willing to get more money, they might be ready to do some upgrades and so forth, right? And at some places sellers are just, they are in rush to sell and they just need to get rid of it, right? So I think
Okay.
to me, knowing all of that situation better will help with listing and selling the house.
That's great. So let me ask you one very simple question, very short question. How do you know what seller wants?
I think listening them and asking them more and more question if they are not
Exactly.
clear about it would
Yeah.
give us more clarity.
Exactly. See, even Yesha was kind of like Peter from her own perspective. She eventually gets to the point that sales is asking a series of questions that essentially going to be agreed. When seller says they want this, they automatically agrees what they say, right? So this is what sales. Okay.
And also
So-
there are and also I think there's another point to it, right? Many times I have seen that sellers have some unrealistic expectations, right? So when we go to the sellers meeting, we need to have those comps and some of those experiences ready with us, that okay, see, in such kind of cases where sellers have listed the price, it was when they have listed the house at overprice, they were not able to sell it quickly, or they were not able to get the price or maybe the footfall they were expecting, right? So I think it's also on us to set sellers expectations, looking at the neighborhood surroundings, market condition, and house as well, the condition of the house.
Yeah, great. So that's why, as I said, Xing, are you here? Shuxing, are you here? If not, I'm gonna just continue. So yeah, so let's wrap this very quickly, okay? So basically, again, don't feel bad if the final answer is a no, because that is going to be the beginning of, if the no is mutually agreed with a seller and you as an agent, as a professional service provider, it's not a failure. It's not a setback. It's the beginning. It's the start for the next era, for the next stage of working together, right? For example, if you know the seller expectation is 25% about asking, you gotta know, but that no is mutually agreed between you and your prospect, right? So what do? We do follow up. We do long-term nurturing, right? Nurturing. So this is where we get from there. And essentially, eventually, and everybody know that real estate is a marathon, right? It's a time-consuming work. So if we have the right mindset, if we have the right expectation, we were not feeling very bad in our own mood, our everyday, frustration and so forth. Because as long as you keep the good relationship and keep mutually agreed yes or no with your client, buyer or sellers, good things gonna happen. All right. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask if anyone have any questions. Okay, go ahead. I'm glad. Yeah.
Yeah, so in a listing presentation, so the seller has not choose you, so it's during the listing presentation when you want to ask how much does the seller want to sell, and if the seller respond to a price, maybe that's the highest price that has been occurred for this year or for the 2 years, how normally would be a good way to respond?
Antoine, you want to answer this question?
All right, what was the question?
The question is, if the sellers, okay, oh, you go ahead, Anna. Yeah.
Yeah, so the question is, so during a listing presentation, when the seller hasn't decided to work with you, and when you ask them what price do you want to sell, and when they answer a question, the number that is pretty high, maybe the highest among this year or the recent 2 years, normally what would be a good answer?
So I'd follow this by almost every, every answer should be backed by data and information, right? So, you're prepared at the listing agreement, so you do have the data all in front of you, right? So if they truly, they're the CEO of it, right? You have strong suggestions of what to price it at, but if they ultimately say, no, we're doing this, right? Okay, but you need to show them the consequence, right? Potential consequence of overpricing. And that's where some of those graphics and so forth that I shared earlier, and you can get them in that specific neighborhood, right? If we price it at this, the expectation, show them the expectation. Okay. So again, the response should be backed by data and information, right? Well, we can price it like this, but my suggestion is to price it like this, right? Because if we price it lower right here, we're likely to get more activity, right? And give them an extreme example, right? If we price it at $100,000, we're going to get 500 people through the door. Maybe not 500, but you get it. If we price it at $5 million in a $2 million neighborhood, we're going to get no one through the door.
Yeah, thank you, Anton, about the pricing strategy discussion. So my question is, at the listing presentation, when they haven't decided yet to work with you or not, if they want to sell their home at certain price that is higher, what is a good way to respond?
Yeah, as I mentioned, show them the data, right? Here, this price, these properties are pending for this amount. Find the most similar properties, right? If we are priced at higher than that, we might be on the market for longer. It's possible. That'd be my response. And it's again, it's backed by your collective data and information that you've gathered to prepare for the listing appointment. So you're not telling them no, we're not going to price it like this, but you are telling them a potential consequence, right?
I think I agree with Anton, actually. I think this is that actually happens. If you're referring to the Sunnyvale house, right? Like if you say yes to that on the spot, well, on the one hand, you might get the listing, but the question is that, do you want to get a listing that is not going to sell? Right? So I think what Anton just trying to say is that, and I'm more recently I'm actually using this technique or this strategy more and more. Is that I'm gonna try to put everything on top of. Sorry, Anton, can you mute? Yeah. So actually, I'm gonna try to put everything, relatively upfront and by showing them the data. Like if I'm speaking with a 1.5 million house, like the comp says this house is 1.5, and the seller insists that they wanted, let's say 1.75. I'm gonna tell them exactly what Anton just said. That I'm still happy to try my best to sell for you, but you will be experiencing longer in the market. Because again, if you take a unrealistic seller's listing, you might end up spending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 7 weeks in open house, and you might spend a huge amount of marketing, sending email and text and every day. However, and you might get quite a few offers, but they don't sell it. And your result will be depending on the seller's mercy. Like they suddenly change their mind, right? Or if they eventually realize, the reality. However, is it worth the effort and time? This is the evaluation we need to make at the very beginning. So I agree with Anton that we do not have to sign every single listing at the listing presentation. We want to make sure sellers are in the same page as ours. For me, I have a matrix that I evaluate sellers, like, are they nice person? That means are they easy to work with and willing to listen, so that even though their expectation may be high today, but they will eventually becoming realistic in the future. Number two is that, is this house really good, right? If this house is outstanding, all the details and the floor plan is extremely reasonable, I want to take it. This might sell, this might having the be in the needle in the hay. Maybe someone can just come and crazy loves it and are willing to pay the premium, right? And number three is that, are the sellers, how much are the sellers' expectation away from the market? So to answer your question, Anna, when we start facing a seller, instead of just looking at the seller's expectation, I'm gonna also look at the front 2 points, like we were seeing of the house. Like for example, for the Sunnyvale townhouse, right? It is a side. Actually, this is Jesse and Anna. Anna Wang is not here today, but if they are here, they know what I'm talking about. They just signed a listing where the seller expectation is about 100K higher, but that house is really, really nice. Like a very bright and extremely well remodeled. So I told them, when they asked me, should we take the listing? I told them, yes, there's a chance. You should take it. And because there is a possibility that someone are willing to pay for the upgrades. They have an engineered high floor, chrome molding for everything, brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, practically almost 170K upgrades. So this is something we will take into consideration before we kind of making the conclusion for the sellers. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely on Sean's point. If the property is considerably better than the comps, then take that into consideration. But if it's like any other comps, there's nothing special about it. You can also be, depending on the type and the personality of the seller here, you can further be like, hey, I am not the agent that's going to just say yes to everything you want, right? And can there be another agent that tell you that they give you $100,000 more than your expectation? Okay, that agent, and you can flip to the Redfin active more than over 30 days on market. You can just say, hey, these are all the agents that promised their client, beyond reality, right? I come with data. Here's all the data and information. Here are the comps. If the properties very similar to the others. But as Sean mentioned, you know, if there are other features that are significantly better, then yes, you know, it can sell for higher than the comps.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Again, 30 seconds count. You know, if no one has any questions, let's wrap it up. Yeah. Okay. So you can still ask questions when I finish up. Okay. So yeah. So want to show you something really quick that we're actually making some. This is not rolled out, but yeah, I want to show you something that we have been doing right now. So this is what we're gonna make the new Gaia Realty real estate website, and we're gonna try to make a new app for everyone. So basically, if you want to search for anything, right, like South, okay, San Francisco, okay, so you're gonna be able to see the new. This is very simple. It's a prototype, okay. So you're gonna be able to see like I don't know why it's a little bit slow. Generally, it's like very fast. Yeah. So is it? Let me see. Oh, okay. It's coming up. Yeah. Sorry. It's okay. So this is the city of South San Francisco, right? So as you can see, you know, like eventually we want to make it available for everybody. So these are all the properties in South San Francisco. And for example, you want to get, there are a few functionality that we are working on. I'm going to show you. There are a few things that if you want to, you know, select, I'm going to elaborate later on next time again. So if you don't understand, there's no worry. Okay. So for example, you want to see this 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. Okay. So you click this 4, and then there's a button, click route. Okay. So you're gonna be able to get a route, and now it's not finished, but then our functionality is eventually you're gonna be able to get a direct route in Google Maps, so you can see like how you can kind of like make it right. And if you click into this, it's very straightforward and simple. This is not for consumers. This is strictly for professionals, for Gaia's agents. Okay, you're gonna directly see agent remarks here. Okay, no need to log into MLS anymore. Okay. And you're going to be able to see agent contact, right? You click, then you can choose to call him, Travis, or you can choose to text Travis. Okay. For example, here, you're going to open messages. I mean, especially if you're on an iPhone, it's going to, or on Android, it's going to be, let's start typing already. Okay. And if you want the disclosures, there you go. One click. You got the disclosures. Okay, so yeah, so this is the convenience. We expect to roll out to everybody in, I would say, maybe in 2 months. So you know, this is going to be extremely convenient for you every day, so that you do not ever need to log into the, you know, the annoying MLS system anymore. Okay, so yeah, so essentially, this is what we're trying to build for AI on everybody, and also. In case you have not used OfferTA, again, let me show you something really quick. We have greatly updated OfferTA. So now you do not need to enter any more seller's information. So you can just, let me give you something like really quick. You can, oh, sorry, yeah, this is my other screen. Yeah, so you can just, let's see. Yeah, let's see. I want to give you this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and okay, yeah. So okay, so let me. Yeah, okay. So now traditionally we have to use like who is the listing agent, who is the DI number. We need to kind of, now everything of these go, and no parcel number go. Okay, so basically it's going to be your buyer. For example, I'm using Antoine bio here as a buyer, and Antoine at AntoineBio.com, and this is the address and the price, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, well, this is it. And you can click create the offer, and it's gonna be generate about 1 minute for whatever you want to see, and then and this is every single tool we are mentioning is seller agent buyer one, email buyer one, seller agent form. Interesting. Okay, so we need to see buyer. Here. So okay, or buyer, you can put buyer or buyer one. Yeah. So okay. I don't know why there's requesting me seller agent form. It should not be requesting me seller agent form. It should be able to directly fetch this from MLs. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna actually try to report this bug. Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, let me actually report this in the OfferTA. Yeah, it's still in beta, but yeah.
Yeah, John showed this to me about a week ago, and it worked flawlessly. So once they work out,
maybe I think what we do is actually like this. Let's see this again. This is probably gonna work. I think they're probably gonna be reading this from this information. Might be a formatting. So as long as you put this on the top, it should be generating. Okay, interesting. I don't know why it's showing here, but last time when we showed it, it showed all good. So sorry for that, but yeah, we're gonna be keeping fix it. So if it's saying seller agent firm, you just put in like seller agent's name and firm. So, and it's gonna generate. I think most of you have seen this. So yeah, and if you're interested in playing and using yourself, definitely welcome to do it. And we provide this for everyone. Okay. So this is the latest tech development for everybody. And yeah, thank you very much for joining today's meeting. And I think what he said. Hold on 1 second. The technical was saying that because this house is pending. Hold on 1 second. Is this pending? No, it's not pending. Yeah, it's there. So interesting.
yeah, it's just troubleshoot it later on. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll troubleshoot it. Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for joining today's meeting. And any questions, you can always keep asking and asking questions in both groups. And yeah, see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Goodbye.